Hi everyone, welcome back to the Life's Good. My name is AJ, this is my channel. I live in the northeast of England and of late the weather hasn't been particularly fantastic, and I think we've had one of the wettest Mays on record after one of the driest Aprils on record. So what on earth is going on with the weather, I honestly do not know. But the last few days have been absolutely glorious up here, and I've been able to get outside and do a few things. Been potting up some marigolds and pinks today and putting them into little containers and putting them on display around the garden. Well, the warm weather has certainly brought everybody out, and we've had an increase in aircraft traffic over the garden today and motorcycles through the village. Not that I'm complaining about the motorcycles, I ride one myself, but every time I tend to get the camera out to make a movie or video, somebody drives by with something noisy. It's going to happen, isn't it, guys? Marigolds and pinks in tubs. I'm going to locate this on the table, on the decking, and I've got a couple of other things I wanted to discuss with you today, and predominantly discuss some disappointments over the last few weeks. This is Bob. He's our pet rabbit, but he's quite ancient now. He's probably about 12 years old. He's got a couple of cataracts in his eyes and he is partially sighted, but he's still healthy and happy, and he enjoys time out in our garden. And if you look behind Bob, and I'll try and point out, this area here was some lovely geraniums, and they've been given a severe haircut. And no, it wasn't Bob. Bob doesn't like geraniums. Bob tends to stick to the grass and dandelions and clover, and he likes to go indoors and partake of his normal food, and indeed the odd cracker and some breakfast cereal. But the geranium is not Bob's damage, and I noticed this the other day, and I've had a look around the garden and found quite a bit of other damage, and I'll show you what I mean. This is a primrose, and it was a mass of yellow flowers towards the end of last week, and today there's just one remaining, and the leaves have been chopped back and damaged, and together with the geranium, this started to ring alarm bells with me, and I started to investigate further. I ventured down to the sort of salad bed in front of the greenhouse, and there were two Camel Nero plants left here that we were taking leaves from and using in our dinners. And this morning, as you can see, there's very little left of these, particularly at the lower side. There's just on here just a few stalks left, and on this one a little bit of leaf and just mostly stalk. So what on earth is going on? And if we look further across the plot, I'll just move you slightly. Here, I don't know if you can see this, just across there is where I planted out my chard, and there's hardly any left apart from a couple at the front end here. The spring onions adjacent to them along here are still in place, but next to the spring onions I had some lettuce, and most of those have gone. And on the outer edge you can see where I had my row of radishes here, but the ones at this end have had their leaves trimmed off, and here was a row of lettuces, and all the ones at this end have also gone. And if we go back onto the main plot, there's even more concern taking place there. Difficult to see against the soil, but along here there are several sticks, and they indicate where I have sown my peas. And with all the rain we had during May, these peas had germinated and grown and were somewhere between 2 and 3 inches tall up until Thursday last week, and I came out this morning and they've all gone. And now I'm starting to get really cross, really concerned, and I do not know what on earth is going on. Under the shade of my raspberries, you can also see that here I had some new raspberry growth coming through, and these will grow tall and produce fruit next year. However, something has taken all the foliage off of these and the tips and just left the original stalks sitting there. Also planted out some parsley at the foot of the canes that are going to support my runner beans this year, and that there was a very large clump of parsley last week and is now just a few stems and a few minor leaves showing, so the majority of the parsley has been taken as well. Well, it's taken a little while to work things out, but we have eventually discovered the culprit. Now, it's not Bob and it's not pigeons. We do in fact have a wild rabbit living in our garden. We did see him several weeks ago. We had a glimpse, and we've seen him a couple of times since, and didn't realise the amount of damage that that one small wild rabbit could do. We're not sure where he's coming from. We're surrounded by private gardens, houses and bungalows. There is no open land close to our house, so where he's exactly coming from, we're not entirely certain. But we do now have a problem, because everything that we had growing in our garden has now become the dinner table for the wild rabbit. So I need to consider my options with regard to controlling that situation, and I need to do so very quickly, otherwise we could end up with no produce this year. I've got a lot of produce that is ready to be planted out onto the plot. For example, my beetroot, my multi-sown beetroot. I've got some courgette plants, and I've got a number of other varieties of plant in the greenhouse that are all desperate to go out on the ground now. But I'm a bit reluctant to plant these out until I can control the pest problem. Well, I'm just taking some time to reflect on everything in the garden, and indeed my channel, and I'm enjoying a few hours in the garden in the sunshine. Back to work tomorrow. As I said, I'm just reflecting on things, and apart from the rabbit problem and the weather, the other thing I find disappointing is that I don't seem to be attracting as many subscribers to my channel as I would like. I've been trying to work that one out. I know that there are horses for courses, and some of the things we do aren't suited to a lot of people. But what we try and do here is to show that with an ordinary home, with an ordinary garden, you can create so much, and you can grow food, and certainly you have fruit and vegetables, and have a lovely area in which to relax. And from here we produce our chutneys and jams and homemade wine, fruit wines and things. I make my homemade beer, and that is what we sort of base the channel name on, really. The life is good, and we try and show that you could do the same with your garden at home. So I try and offer advice, guidance, hints and tips on the growing aspect and how we go about making our chutneys and so on. And I still fail to understand why, after 2 years of doing this, my subscriber count is a little over 370 something. And in the last week I've actually lost more than I've gained. So I'm clearly doing something wrong, or, as I found looking at other channels on YouTube, I'm probably not wearing the right clothing. There was a young lady in America put a video on concerning how she harvested her tomatoes. No disrespect to the girl. She had some lovely tomatoes. But the fact that she was wearing a micro bikini and micro shorts and little else was the only interesting aspect of the video I could see. She didn't know how to harvest tomatoes. I think I only saw her harvest 3. Most of the video was taken up with her cavorting around the garden in her micro clothing. She had 14,000 views in 2 days. She's got about 20,000 subscribers. What on earth is going on? In this country, there are people putting on videos concerning homegrown food, homegrown fruit and veg. And I've watched them. You don't actually get shown how to grow the veg. You just see someone wearing lots of makeup and some micro clothing, wandering around, pointing at things and saying, well, this is my whatever. This is my fruit, veg, flower, whatever. The whole video isn't about the growing of the fruit and vegetables. It's all about them cavorting in front of the camera. And I really am at a loss as to how I can compete with that. I think I've put on some reasonable videos. We show you how to sow seeds, sow plants, harvest plants, look after your plants, make your jams and chutneys, make your homemade wine. I'm doing a series of videos on the home brew now, which is proving reasonably popular. But as to why am I doing this, that is a question I've been asking myself of late. And with the disappointment of losing everything I've grown to the beep beep rabbit, I'm getting pretty fed up, to be honest. So I'm going to have a think. I might show you a few things over the next few weeks, but the Life's Good was set up with good intention and is now struggling to gain any form of reputation with regard to the competition I'm getting from crap videos, basically. Honestly, there is some absolute rubbish on YouTube, and they've got masses of subscribers, masses of views, plenty of support, and these people are earning money for doing that. I don't get a penny for doing what I do. I'm not that sort of channel. I'm not big enough. I don't have fancy adverts and fancy logos and expensive editing software and things like that. So I'm questioning what I'm going to do, to be honest. And I do appreciate the subscribers I've got. They've stuck with me from the beginning. And after nearly 2.5 years, I don't seem to be making any headway. So I'm beginning to feel that I might just concentrate on my gardening for myself, because it would appear that I don't have, or I can't find enough other people who are interested in what I'm doing. So I'll have a think, and I'll come back to you when I've decided what I'm going to do. So yeah, several weeks of disappointment, losing all my produce, not gaining subscribers, losing subscribers. I'm feeling very disappointed and very unhappy with the situation at the moment. So, on that low note, I'm going to continue having my homebrew and sit in the sun and contemplate what to do about that pesky wabbit. I'll come back and speak to you another time soon. Look after yourselves, stay safe, be happy, and maybe we'll see you back here again soon in the Life's Good. Ta-da.